The motorsports world is where legends are made, the unthinkable happens, and barriers are broken. One man harnesses the power of an industry every week. This is the General Tire Down and Dirty Show, powered by Polaris RZR, with Jim Beaver.
Welcome to this week's General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here in the house with a big show today. Got a couple of guests. We got world champion Ryan Piplic. That is right, UTV world champion Ryan Piplic. He is calling into the show. And then in hour number 2, we're going to do, I guess we're going to go a little pro wrestling, but there's a car tie-in as well. We got Amber Nova on the show. A lot of you know her from the independent scene in pro wrestling, but she's also a massive car fan. Obviously, her last name Nova, right? Chevy Nova. She's a mechanic. She loves to wrench. She loves hot rods. We're going to have her on the show in hour number 2, talking all things cars, pro wrestling, and a whole lot of everything else in between. Not only that, kicking off hour number 1, we got Tiffany Stone on for 2 segments to break down everything happening in the world of off-road. She was on site at the UTV World Championships, so she's going to be talking about that as well. So, man, lots happening in this show today. We are back. Yes, I had to take a weekend off because of the UTV World Championship, but we're back in full swing, and we got a blockbuster show. And I don't know, hour number 2, I'm going to dive into some fan questions, some news notes, and a whole lot more as well. So, man, big show coming at you. Thank you guys. Thanks for supporting us in the week off. If you haven't already, though, please head over to Apple Podcasts. I know a lot of you are listening in on SiriusXM channel 211, Dan Patrick Radio, Sports Byline, everywhere else you're listening to the show. Thank you for tuning in live, but please go over to Apple Podcasts. Help support us and leave a rating or review and subscribe over there. Helps keep continuing to boost our numbers. And want to welcome a massive new partner in the show, our good friends at Fistful of Bourbon. If you are like me and you like whiskey and you like bourbon, let me tell you, you need to get some Fistful of Bourbon. It is in liquor stores nationwide right now. Just had their national launch, and this stuff is on point. It is good. Trust me, this is the best bourbon I have ever had, and I'm a bourbon drinker. That is saying something. But just saying, man, go and check it out. Fistful of Bourbon's just not a bourbon. It's a damn fistful, and you're going to enjoy it. But thanks to Fistful of Bourbon for joining the show, supporting our esports program as well as the national show. Much appreciated to those guys. And yeah, big show today. Got any questions for any of our guests? Hit me up at JimBeaver15. I'll get those answered in the show, specifically hour number 2. But yeah, we are going to take a short break, and it's going to be Tiffany Stone right here to kick off things on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story.
Conditions off the pavement are always changing, so why settle for a light bar that just turns on and off? The Rigid Adapt is a revolutionary new light bar that will automatically select from 8 beam patterns that range from a widespread 90-degree flood to a 15-degree spot based on your vehicle's speed. Try that with your knockoff light bar. A dash-mounted controller allows the user to toggle between adaptive mode, beam patterns, and RGBW accent lighting. With Adapt, it's easier than ever to own the night.
From the 2018 Master Distillers of the Year comes a bold new American whiskey and Fistful of Bourbon. Their whiskeys have been award-winning for generations. Now they're going all in on bourbon, blending 5 straight whiskeys to create a big balanced bourbon that stands apart from everything else. So grab yourself a fistful of bourbon, a blend of 5 bourbons created with over 100 years of whiskey blending experience. It ain't just a bourbon, it's a damn fistful. Please enjoy responsibly.
When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or @VisionWheel on social media to learn more.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, getting things started in a big way this week in one of our opening segments. Got my good friend Tiffany Stone here to talk about the UTV World Championship and everything else that's going on. What's happening, T-Stone? Back, survived. You survived, I guess, the UTV Worlds. Is that the easiest way to put it?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm just here at the lake right now. It's starting to get pretty cold, just closing down the lake for the season or whatnot, but pretty excited. The fall colors are beautiful, so that's always a plus.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I know UTV Worlds had been a little shell shock for you because it was hotter than hell down here for the event. I mean, I was roasting, and I'm from Arizona, but I got to tell you, it's pretty hot this late. You probably left Detroit and you landed here in Arizona. You're like, what the hell did I get myself into?
Pretty much it was a 65-degree difference. From the moment I left Detroit, I boarded the plane, it was about 40 degrees. And then when I landed in Phoenix, grabbed the rental car, started driving, it was 105.
Wow.
So that's kind of a self-explanatory about how the weekend went. And then, yeah, on Friday, I actually got kind of a little lightheaded. Normally I'm not. Normally, you know, I've done the Mint for the past few years, UTV World for the past few years. Nothing is too crazy or anything like that. And I don't know what happened, but for some reason this year it just seemed to be super hot out there. But all in all, it was overall a great event. It was kind of cool to be somewhere different that I've never been before. So I was pretty excited about it all.
Oh, you never been to Lake Havasu before?
Nope. I've only driven through it coming back from King of the Hammers, but never actually been at Lake Havasu. Got to check out the bridge, which was pretty cool. So other than that, yeah, it was pretty nice.
You come to Parker, but I guess I assumed you've been to Parker, you've been to Havasu, but man, that's rad though. Havasu's cool. I love this area of the country. Like, I'm lucky enough I live here, but we've got, all the off-road trails, all the off-road riding, and then we've also got, river, lake. So it's like a mix of, if you like power sports, you like outdoor stuff between the lake, the river, and the desert. Like, we've got everything here. It's kind of like a dream for people like me who love all that stuff,
No, exactly. And I was just, noticing how much I like it, because I like the Flagstaff area in Arizona. It gives you the mix of somewhat different seasons. It cools down a little bit because they're higher elevation. It gives you different areas to check out. But no, I really understood why everybody likes hanging out in Havasu, for the summer and stuff. It's just like you're there. The water's always warm. The weather's always great. You can pull your boat up to all those different little areas. I mean, we have some of that stuff in Michigan, obviously, with the Great Lakes and stuff, but it's not as condensed or not in that little area. So if you want to go take a power boat out, you can do that. If you want to go ride RZRs, you could go do that. If I had my Jeep, I could do all of that, And so it was pretty cool to experience.
Yeah, well, and I'm actually learning more about Michigan through you. I know my good friend Rob Weir's got a power sports dealership in the Detroit area. You talk about the dunes there. I've been to Snowdrift Rally, but now I'm just hearing, there's this big Jeep event, an off-road event, expo thing, you know what I mean, up there. What was it, like Detroit 4Fest that in September that I didn't even know about. I feel like Michigan's got a pretty rad, power sports and off-road community. And, and truthfully, I'm just learning about it. I feel like every state maybe has these little niche areas and stuff like that. But, I'm kind of impressed. Michigan seems like it's pretty rad as far as off-roading and stuff goes.
No, there's a lot of cool stuff. I mean, there's Drummond Island in the UP. There's the Silver Lake Sand Dunes, which is, obviously everybody knows of Glamis on the West Coast, but imagine Glamis, but, ends at Lake Michigan. So you get the cool Lake Michigan sunset during the summer all the time. I was actually thinking of going there to Silver Lake this weekend, but the weather's not the greatest. And like I said, I needed to close down some stuff at the lake. But other than that, it's just really cool. There's a lot of national forests throughout here. One of my best friends, Jessica, her and her family, they have, a 4-seater RZR, and they like to take that out. And I found Tin Cup earlier this spring and summer when I took the Jeep out there. It's really cool. Like, if you like trail riding, you like exploring, you like doing all that stuff, nature, it's really, really great. I enjoy it. Sometimes I take it for granted, but, other than that, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. So, obviously, UTV World Championship, I guess let's talk through that. Did you get it? I know you were doing, obviously, all the pit reporting stuff. You get a chance to get out in a RZR out on course at all, Tiff?
I did, in a way. Some of the infield, Matt Martelli took me out the Thursday before the weekend kicked off, just to make sure, like, the microphone, the live U-Pack would be able to go places. But I didn't get to pre-run or do any of those. I wish that I did. I heard that course was just pretty crazy in itself. There was a lot of G-outs. There was a lot of split lanes that were available for passing and what. The dust was a little bit of a factor. I know that just based on being in the hot pits and being out there. And then on Saturday, they started a little bit later, and that changes the whole game plan, because where you think the sun's going to set or where you think it's going to be. But I didn't get a chance, and I know you did. So really, what was it kind of like?
It was interesting. Like I told everybody, it was a mix of like the Mike Sky Ranch loop down in Baja. It was a mix of like the Parker 400 or 425 course in areas. And then I said it was probably, there was a couple sections that were a little King of the Hammer-ish. And I don't want people, when I say that, to think like backdoor and huge boulder crawls and things like that. But there was a small waterfall we had to go down. There was some rock sections where I literally, I was going 1-2 miles an hour crawling over boulders, It wasn't like a long sustained section like you would see at Hammers, but there was some sections like that where you were just crawling, stuff you don't normally get in a desert race. So I'd say it was like a combination of those three. Like, I will be honest with you, I've never raced on a track like that in a desert race. It was very tight, twisty, technical. I know there's a lot of haters on the internet talking trash about it and stuff like that. I'm like, to me, it's unwarranted. I'm like, this is off-road. Like, it shouldn't be easy. I think, it definitely wasn't a boring track. Let's put it that way. Is it something I want to race on every single race? No. Once a year? Yeah, like something different. Like, bring it,
Well, and it also goes to show you, it just pushes you. It pushes your elements. And I don't know who's talking trash or anything out there. And trust me, I'm not a racer. I'm not a driver. I drive my Jeep and I go 3 miles per hour up obstacles. But, for me, it's just, why wouldn't you want to try to test yourself, test your abilities, test your limits, test whatever vehicle you're driving, push it. Like, that's the only way you really, really grow. It's and as cliche as that sounds, the older I'm getting, like, that's how you're going to be able to test your endurance. And I was talking to a bunch of people because I wanted to know what their pit strategies was. It was a five laps. It was a little under 30 miles per lap. It was a total of 148 miles. And what's the pit strategy? Are you going to pit after 2? Are you going to pit after 3? Are you going to try to, pit before the sun goes down, no matter where you're at? And the thing is at the end of the day, it comes to how well the vehicle's built, how big of a fuel cell you have. Because if you have a big enough fuel cell to go that way, it's going to work. The weather was a factor. The dust was a factor. And also the mental game that you had to get yourself into. I don't care what anybody says. That is a mental endurance game, especially the way that the course was laid out. If you don't believe in yourself, then why should anybody else believe in you? And that's kind of what I have to say to the haters talking about the course. Like, you're racing in the desert. Come on. Like, you knew what you were getting yourself into. It's not like we're racing short course where they groom it after every race, or they throw water down after every, during Comp Yellow, or different things like that. It's just like, hey, if you want to do that, just do it. Why not?
Yeah. Well, and I think too, like, I'm sick of cookie cutter tracks. We race on a lot of tracks that are almost the same, every single year, and from venue to venue, it's very similar. But this is something different. But I also, to me, there's something like King of the Hammers. You're crowning somebody king or queen. But, King of the Hammers, to me, it's got to be brutally hard. It shouldn't be easy, and you shouldn't be able to phone it in and be deemed king, right? To me, it needs to be tougher than everything else. And I look at something like the UTV World Championship. You're being crowned world champion. You are the best in the world in that discipline, right? To me, it's got to be tougher than your average race. It can't just be an easy phone-in job,
100%. And that's what I'm trying to say. You want to be the best of the best, then do the hardest obstacles and do that, because then nobody else has anything to say to you, because you did accomplish the best of the best and the hardest stuff. And some people, certain people will be like, well, I got the win off of that. Yeah, but the win off of what? The mediocre win? No, you want to be the best. So like I said, I didn't take out that course. I've never driven in a race. I will preface all of that, but this is just the way that I see it as a pit reporter, field reporter from the other side, and somebody else who does do those certain things, when I do trail to SEMA or go to any of the trails, yes, there's an easy line, there's a hard line, there's a buggy line. And don't get me wrong, I'll tell people if I took the easy line or if I took the bypass, there's no shame in my game about taking a bypass or using my winch or any of those things. But yet I'm not complaining about it either. I know my skill set, I know my level. And if you're not ready to race UTV World Championships, then you're not ready to race UTV World Championships. That's just my humble opinion in all of it.
Well, we are definitely on the same page. We're going to continue this conversation after the break right here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Don't just shred your way through any off-road rugged terrain. Get into gear with GSP XTV and let us redefine your adventure. The GSP advantage of quality and performance sets a standard for UTV axles. We strive to provide premium ATV and UTV axles to keep you shreddy ready. Kick up some dirt and get in the driver's seat with GSP XTV. With over 35 years of experience, drive with a company you can trust. Drive with GSP. For more information, please visit us at gspxtv.com today.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Talking a little UTV World Championship with Tiffany Stone, but before we dive into more of that talk and some other talk that I want to bring up, I got to mention, T-Stone, my esports team, we got a big deal, and this radio show now is sponsored by Fistful of Bourbon. I know you haven't tried it yet because it's brand new to the market in September. They had their nationwide launch, but I got to tell you, I got a bottle of this for you, Tiff. I know you like to drink a little whiskey once in a while, and I'm telling you, stuff is on point.
No, I was very, very jealous of that. So I hope you could get some sent to me, because it gets pretty cold in the winters in Michigan. And with me not traveling as much, because obviously SEMA's not happening, Trail to SEMA's not happening, PRI, I might need to stay a little bit warm with some bourbon and some whiskeys and some different things like that I want to test out. You're going to be surprised about this. They have some barrel-aged Cabernet that I've been drinking. So I'm already on that kick. So I'm ready for this bourbon whenever you send it.
All right. Well, this is actually really good. You don't have to mix it. This is smooth enough. This is, good quality bourbon when you just throw it on some ice and drink it. You don't have to cut it down with Coke or 7-Up or anything like that. This stuff is good straight out of the bottle on ice. So it's silky smooth. So definitely got some flavor to it. I think you'll like it. Question for you. Did you see there was somebody sent me something? I was like, this got to be a joke. And I actually had to do some research on it. It's the real thing. There's something out there called vodkila, and it's a tequila and vodka mix. Have you seen this?
No, I have not seen that yet.
No, I looked at it and I go, literally, I think if Satan created alcohol, that was it. Like, I'm looking at it going, there's got to be one demented human being that makes a vodka tequila mix, like, and it's one of those, like, who would ever think of drinking that? And then I get the itch going, I'd like to try it and see how bad it is. You know, and I'm going, that's probably exactly what they're going for. Somebody like me that goes, man, I want to try this. Like, we all know this is going to be like death in a bottle. Like, you're probably going to become a zombie at the end of the drink. But I feel like I want to try it just because it's so bizarre and, you know, it's so brutal that you want to take a sip, you know?
Do you know what we should do? We should set up a Zoom meeting, and both of us get it, record the Zoom meeting, and both of us drink it and taste it, and then let everybody else see it.
Yeah, it's something like that. I wonder, do you drink it straight or do you mix it? Because I think drinking straight's like absolutely going to be horrid, but I feel like you almost have to see how bad it is.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have to do it just to see how bad it is. I completely agree with you. I think we should try it, Jim. For your birthday, you should at least try it. Try everything once.
For my birthday, Jimmy turns 40. Jimmy dies when he's 40. Oh, man.
He dies of tequila vodka.
Yeah, vodka. I'm going to send you a picture of the bottle. You're going to be like, holy crap. It's even got a skull on it, so at least they're honest. Oh,
well, that should be good then.
Yeah, right. So hey, we're gonna have to try this. We'll source a bottle at some point. But yes, speaking of stuff that is good, check out Fistful of Bourbon. It is in liquor stores nationwide right now. I'm going to mail Tiffany Stone a bottle so she can give it a try because I know she's like me. She likes a little bit of bourbon. So yeah, but T-Stone, other than that, yeah, UTV Worlds happened. That wrapped up. I know I was just texting with my buddy Joe Duncan. He was telling me about that Detroit 4Fest. I guess they got one in Texas now, the Texas 4Fest. So he's telling me, like, this is, like, this huge thing. I think they're going to have another one next year, like, in another place as well. Like, I feel like whatever happened in Detroit this year was really, really good. And I guess they're going to take this and have, like, 3 or 4 of them nationwide next year.
Awesome. Well, I did end up going to the Detroit 4Fest. I know some people that were putting it on, so they gave me a little invite to come out during the VIP days before they opened it up to the public because they were at Holly Off-Road Park. And it was pretty cool. It was just really unique. There was a bunch of things. Jeep was there. They had done some testing for the Ford Bronco, I know, previous to that at that same park. So I thought it was pretty cool to go to. So I'm pretty excited for them.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Events, I got to give anybody credit. Events are so hard in general. In a good year, events are impossible. There's so many events that happen and they do it once and then they never do it again. Events, there's just so many moving parts to get it to be done right. But to pull one off in the middle of a pandemic and then to have it so good that you're going to expand, like, to me, that's crazy. Like, props to them. Like, I don't know, being in the event business in 2020 is definitely not a good business model. Let's put it that way.
No, as somebody who has spent the last 11, 12 years being a part of auto shows and dealing with all of that, you can totally tell where a lot of people not are struggling, but it's just a lot of people are out of work because the events aren't happening. They don't know what's going on, and just like you were saying, to make an event pretty good. And the thing is, auto shows have been around forever. And if they're even taking a hit, that the new and upcoming ones are going to be taking a hit pretty much too.
Yeah. Well, and, I was talking to a mutual friend of ours the other day. We were messaging and she was saying something. So, we'll give her a shout on air. Brittany Crowell, she's a model, good friend of Tiffany's. You guys work together. But like she was saying, we're, talking about lack of events and things like that. And she was going, it's actually been good. She goes, I actually have learned, a lot about myself, not been on the road quite as much, things like that. She's like, the breather was good. Now I'm ready to get back to work. And I kind of feel the same way. Like, I think a lot of us, honestly, kind of brought us back to center a little bit. Cause I think people like you and I, Tiff, we're on the road so much. Like, you forget about a lot of things we enjoy. And, we were able to pick up some of our hobbies. Obviously now things are back into full swing, but I feel like it's probably good for some of us, you know what I mean? Just to kind of be brought back to center a little bit because we are run so ragged.
No, I completely agree with you on a lot of those things. It was just that's kind of what happened. I was able to recenter myself and be able to really focus on things that I wanted to do and things that I like and moving so forth that way. So I was very thankful for it. And I was able that in the beginning of the pandemic too, when, things weren't going, I was able to come to the lake. I spent a good 3 weeks one time at the lake, just hanging out and doing things. And it was really nice. And now I'm just back kind of thinking, I'm like, man, I'd love to have some breaks, because there was a time, because everything was going so quickly that it was back to back to back, that there were times I was working 4 weekends in a row, plus still hosting, Haggerty's Daily Driver Monday through Thursday, leave the show Thursday, go do all that stuff, come back Sunday. So it got difficult after a while, but, I shouldn't complain, because there was a point in time when none of us were working, and that could happen again.
I will say one of the weirdest things about this year, truthfully, and as much as I cuss it every year, I hate going, I kind of miss
SEMA.
not having it on the schedule, SEMA and PRI. I love PRI more than I love SEMA, so I'm actually going to miss my trip to PRI in Indy in December more than SEMA, but it's weird going into November, December, not having those two events to go to. It's been such a part of my life the last decade, both of them, like it's so weird not planning on going.
No, and that's exactly like what I was thinking too with myself and stuff like that. I'm just like, because normally I have to start getting ready for Trail to SEMA and doing all those things. So it's pretty cool. It did kind of work out a little bit for me, because I have some other things like for next week, you and I had chatted about me doing the Barrett Jackson stuff. So that's going to be exciting. And now I won't have to push myself as so much and everything to try to get the Jeep ready for Trail to SEMA, especially because I drive it all the way out there. But I'm just excited. I keep saying this because we just keep getting older, but as cliche as it sounds, when one door closes, another door opens. And there's a reason why people say that, and there's a reason why people still go with it.
And isn't that the truth? I know you and I, between TV work and announcing, and I've had the past 10 years, I get nervous. You'd be with a series or doing something for a couple of years, and it's all of a sudden that series goes out of business, or they shift directions and they go with a new production company who has their own people, and you're out of a job. And it's always a little bit of nerve-wracking, right? Even with sponsors, one closes and you get nervous, but it seems like if you hustle enough and you're well known and you carry yourself enough, you never know what that next door is going to be when it opens. But it seems like when they do open, you know what I mean? It's like, oh man, this is great, and it's so weird. And it's like, I've been fortunate the last 10 years. I've been so many different places in this industry because those switches have happened and things like that, and I guess if you continue to stay with the same one for 10 years, it probably would get monotonous. So I guess just the way the industry works, it's probably fortunate that every couple of years we get a nice breath of fresh air.
You're absolutely right. I was talking to one of the guys at Haggerty Daily Driver, and especially my generation, any 85 and up, or even 80s babies, growing up and stuff like that. Back in the day when we were growing up, everybody's like, oh, you get out of college, you get a good job, you stay there for how many ever years you stay there for, then you move on and then you retire from there. And it's like, listen, if I ever stay in the same place for 30 years, please, tell me that I needed to do something else, because that's probably just the way that we think about it now. It's weird to stay at somewhere. It's nice to stay in the same realm or the same career goals or the same things for automotive or motorsports for 30 years, but doing the same position in the same job, my heart goes out to anybody, because my attention span could definitely not do that. But it's just how do you do something like that? How do you stay in something for 30 years doing the same thing over and over and over again? That's just a fear to me.
Yeah, we are on the same page, but we're up against a time break, so we're going to take a short break. We'll be back after this with Ryan Piplic here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, or the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome my Polaris RZR teammate and world champion Ryan Piplic to the show. Man, does that have a good ring to it or what, buddy?
You know what? I'm not going to lie. That actually sounds really good. I'm going to have to start using that.
Yeah, world champion Ryan Piplic. You got your kids calling you that yet?
No, they still treat me as dad, and they don't listen. And they're typical 6-year-olds and 3-year-olds, so I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
Yeah, you'll have to tell them. See, so you've got a carrot you can dangle in front of them right now, though, because I know you told the kids when you get a big race win, you're taking them all to Disneyland, right? So now you can hold it and be like, you want to go to Disneyland? Call me world champ.
That's true. But no, I get that every day. Can we go to Disneyland now? And I'm like, well, COVID screwed that up for you, so we're going to have to stay home until it opens.
Yeah. That's pretty unfortunate. Poor kid's got a raw deal on this one. Dad finally wins the big one, and they got to wait like 6 months to go to Disneyland.
Yeah, everybody's not having fun draw this thick right here.
Yeah, gosh. Well, let's talk about the race, though, man. I gotta lay a little credit here. We were going down the list of drivers beforehand, and Matt and I are doing this, and I said, Ryan Piplic, he's the guy right here. And I just felt like you were due for one, and you had the right car for the course, man. And I got to tell you, right after, you were right in it with Fortin for the longest time, about a lap and a half, and then he had some problems, and you just never looked back, man.
Yeah, it was actually a lot of fun. I just didn't know what I was getting myself into. You know, I didn't see the course. I didn't pre-run it, so I had Drew Schultz come in as my replacement co-driver because my co-driver, Blake Barnum, couldn't make it. It was a short notice. So it worked out in my favor to have somebody that pre-ran it, saw it, and gave me a lot of pointers. But yeah, the first couple of laps were pretty much eye-opener, and like, what did I get myself into?
Well, and I got to say, I've driven those trails my entire life. And when I went and saw and did the pre-running and saw the course they laid out, I went, this is not what I thought that this course was going to look like. And like I said, like to me, it was a little bit of mix of maybe Baja and maybe a little King of the Hammers and definitely some Parker in the mix. But I mean, it was like I said, I've never raced on a course like that, man. And I've told everybody's like, did you like the course? I'm like, I actually like that course if I was going to go out and trail ride and have an ice chest in the back of the RZR. I'm like, on a Sunday, that's the type of terrain I want to go and do. I'm like, I don't want to race on that.
No, I didn't like the course because when I go to Parker, for instance, I love Parker with the exception of going up the wash where it's all the washboard for, was it like 6 to 8 miles or something? Well, this course felt like all 19 or 29 miles of it felt like all washboard. And if you didn't have washboard, you had the King of the Hammers. And it was basically rock here, washboard here, there, or a massive danger that you're basically going to rip the car in half on. So it was an eye-opener, and it was basically something completely different than what we've ever raced on. So, hey, I think YouTube World Championships has got a new staple of, hey, come try this luck.
Yeah, and I know originally it was supposed to be like 50, 60-mile loop, which was the Poker Run loop, which I'm actually excited for next year. I think that's going to be a really fun course. This one, I think I can speak on behalf of everybody going, I don't know that I care that we ever race this particular course again, but not saying I wouldn't show up if they did,
Yeah, I'm hoping they do some changes. I talked to Matt a little bit afterwards, and he basically told me that their hopes are to get that 60-mile course, and I didn't get to do the pre-run Poker Run. So if it's anything different from what we did, I would be all about it. But that same course, holy crap, it's rough.
Well, and that being said, you said you didn't do the pre-run Poker Run, any of that. Like we've got to talk about that because you had a gnarly week, man. Like so. You're at home, you come out, you do qualifying, you go back to work, and then you turn around and you come back to the race. Never saw the full loop up until your first lap of the race, man. I mean, if anybody was playing from behind, it was you, man, but somehow you made it work.
Yeah, maybe it's a blessing in disguise, But, yeah, I came down for qualifying on Thursday, which I had to beg my boss for. I was like, hey, can I please have this off? I'll come back to work Friday if I have to. And he was like, yeah, go ahead, have fun. I hope you win. And so went down there, qualified, did a really good. I actually almost thought I had the pole there for a second because there was a little issue with the qualifying times. And then it turned out they got it all figured out and they put me in 4th. So I was ecstatic with that starting position. I don't necessarily always want to start in the front. I kind of like to do a little bit of chasing, but I don't want to be so far back that the dust is going to be a huge factor. So, me coming back to work on Friday, I worked a full day. I had to do another little prep after qualifying, and I probably stayed up until 10 o'clock that night prepping the car and woke up 6 in the morning, drove down there, and got ready for the race.
That's crazy. Well, I want to talk a little bit about your car, too, because you know, for the desert, you've brought a little bit different gun to the fight. I mean, most of the Team RZR guys, I mean, I'm in a 4-seat 1000 or turbo, but most of the guys, I mean, Mitchie, Sims, everybody's kind of gone to the Turbo S platform. You built a new car. You decided to go with a Pro XP platform, and you went with a 2-seater. And it's kind of like Brand X, where it's kind of, I call them like a 2.5 almost, where it's a little bit longer than the traditional 2-seat. But you went with that route. I mean, what was the theory behind that? Because you're bringing something completely different to the desert than anybody else does.
Yeah, it was one of those things. I had a 4-seat car built by Long Travel Industries. I ran it for about 3 years, and I just saw the competition, and I was like, you know what? My driving style, I like to throw the car around, so I would prefer to go in a 2-seat car. And as soon as the Pro XP came out, I was like, you know what? This is like the perfect timing. And it basically came out. I was like, I test drove it. I was like, I'm in love. Let's build this as my desert car. And everything fell into place. And I honestly think I made the best decision.
Yeah. Well, and obviously, I mean, that car was tailor-made for this track, but, I mean, is there ever a position like, say, at the Mint, where it's rugged, you know what I mean, it's beat, where do you feel like you ever feel like you're at a disadvantage having that car, Ryan?
No, everybody seems to think I have a disadvantage because they can't get a large enough fuel cell in the car. Well, I worked with Harman and had a custom fuel cell made for the car, and the original plan was to have a 30-gallon fuel cell, and we were slightly limited. We got it down to about almost 28 gallons is what we actually can put in this car. So that disadvantage, I don't have to stop and pit as much as some people were doing Mint 400 because you couldn't make a lap on a 20-gallon fuel cell. So that was the deciding factor of making this car work perfect for me, is just to be able to stretch the car out 150 miles. And I don't really necessarily see any rough track out there that this car can't handle. Yeah, granted, if you went to like San Felipe, you know, you have those miles and miles of whoops, but shoot, I would love to take this car on the Mint 400. I missed it this year because the races were so close to each other. I opted out, but I have a feeling I'll be back to Mint next year.
Yeah. Well, and truthfully, even thinking about it, though, like even San Felipe, I mean, there's certain places you get into like Matomi Wash where there's rocks and switchbacks and stuff. I could see where yours would actually be an advantage having that little bit shorter wheelbase. So, I mean, yeah, the whoops, yeah, maybe you might want like something like a Turbo S, but I think overall, I mean, it works out probably at least equal on even a track like that, you know, where there's some advantages to having your car.
Absolutely. I really enjoy it. It's basically got really good suspension. I got a long travel kit on here, so it takes it out to the 72 inches, and just like a Turbo S. But then I also have the added power of the Pro XP with the 181. It meant we're running sealed motors and stuff like that, but it's basically built and geared, and we've modified it enough to where it works very well in the desert.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit too. I know you switched to desert, and I know, gosh, I mean, you look at I look at back at your record, you know, and things like that. I go, damn, I mean, you're as accomplished as anybody on Team RZR, but I feel like, you know, you made the transition to desert, and I know you were even talking about it on the live stream when we got you in the booth with Matt and stuff. But you know, you felt like everybody else kind of everybody respected you and respected your driving talent, but it's kind of like one of those out of sight, out of mind almost things. And I feel like you were due, but I mean, how big was this? Because I feel like now it's like, boom, you're back on the radar. Like people are like, oh yeah, we can't forget about this guy again, you know?
Yeah, it actually feels really good to get the win out of the way. You know, it's been 3 years in the making of being in this desert, and it was a very hard transition for me because I'm so used to pushing 100% of the time. And in desert, if you push that hard, something's going to happen. You have to teach yourself to slow down. But now the pace itself has gotten so fast that my speed actually is starting to work back in my favor. And I have to retrain myself. Hey, you need to start pushing, and you have to carry this corner speed. You have to go faster. And it basically transitioned to where it works out in my favor a little bit more now. That, hey, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah. How was the big switch? Let's talk about your transition to UTVs, because I mean you're a quad guy, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, you know, you switch to UTVs. What triggered that? I mean, I know there was kind of a shift there for a while where, you know, even the magazines, you know, the ATV magazines and quad magazines started covering UTVs, things like that. I mean, did you feel like it was just kind of a logical transition? I mean, we've seen a lot, you know, Kristen Matlock, obviously Corey Weller on the short course side. There's been a lot of people transition from ATVs to UTVs. I mean, how was that process for you? What I guess flipped the switch, so to speak?
Well, you know, I've been racing quads since I could remember. And I basically raced, I turned pro in 2006. I raced until 2011. I basically just got burned out. And, you know, you do something for so long, it just like, sometimes you lose the drive.
Yeah.
And so one day I just sold all my quads. I was like, I'm done. And at that point, the XP900 came out. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go buy that with all my money. And bought it. And I said, I'm just going to do some trail riding and have some fun. And next thing you know, I'm at a racetrack with it. And I was like, okay, this is actually kind of fun. This is actually getting that spark and getting that drive back that I was missing for so long. And next thing you know, I did the first full season and I won the championship at Works. And it was against some big names nowadays because, you know, RJ, Bo, and Guthrie. Well, I think he was a kid back then. You know, it's like we all grew up starting at Works, and that's kind of where I think the ground started with UTV racing, with the exception of the Lucas stuff. And it just helped me transition over to where I was like, you know what, I'm actually having fun again and enjoyed it. And Polaris came on board and made basically everything enjoyable. And I had so much fun that, hey, look where I'm at now. And I have no regrets. And it's probably the best decision I ever made.
Yeah, well, you're a world champion now, man. So I don't think anybody's going to argue with that. But that being said, I mean, what's on tap? Obviously, you know, we got the Best in the Desert race coming up here next weekend. Past that, what's on the horizon for 2021?
Basically, COVID's still throwing a big question mark for 2021. I've been talking to all my sponsors and trying to stay in the loop and figure out what the plans are for next year. The schedules are getting released, which is actually a phenomenal thing because people are going to be like, oh, this is going to be awesome. We can go back. Next year, plan on doing a full season of Best in the Desert. Again, I don't plan on going anywhere with that. I'm going to keep focusing on that. I would like to get back into a little bit more of my short course stuff, but that's basically going to be on second spot compared to my main focus is Best in the Desert. So always open to the ideas of driving Baja again. I've done it twice. You know, I'm always open. My ultimate goal, though, would be to try Pikes Peak. That's always been one of my dreams of trying ever since even when I was on a dirt bike and quad back in the day. But I think since it got paved all the way to the top, it's kind of lost its little prestige. But, you know, it's still Pikes Peak. I would love to do that.
Yeah. Well, and I got to ask, I mean, obviously you got a couple of kids, you know, any chance we see them pop up in a 170 at some point?
Yeah, that was deal number 2 with my kids. It was basically, okay, you have to turn 6 years old. We have the 170 already. Let's get you guys trained. Let's learn you how to drive it. And, well, guess what? The car's getting dropped off pretty much at the end of the year, and it's going to get built into a race car, so my kids are going to start racing.
Oh, nice. Well, that's one thing I think everybody loves. With you guys, it's a complete family affair. I mean, you know, kids are there, your wife's there. Like, you know, you guys are all in on the program together. I think that's one thing that's really rad.
Yeah, it's a family ordeal. We basically don't have a lot of outside help when it comes to the racetracks as far as friends and family because our family lives so far away. It's basically just an in-house. I prep my car, and my wife takes care of the kids, and we show up for the race together. It's a family sport.
Well, Ryan, it's been fun. We're up against a time break, buddy, but congratulations on the massive win, and we'll see you in Parker here in about a week.
Awesome. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
And we'll be back after this on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Conditions off the pavement are always changing, so why settle for a light bar that just turns on and off? The Rigid Adapt is a revolutionary new light bar that will automatically select from 8 beam patterns that range from a widespread 90-degree flood to a 15-degree spot based on your vehicle's speed. Try that with your knockoff light bar. A dash-mounted controller allows the user to toggle between adaptive mode, beam patterns, and RGBW accent lighting. With Adapt, it's easier than ever to own the night.
From the 2018 Master Distillers of the Year comes a bold new American whiskey and fistful of bourbon. Their whiskeys have been award-winning for generations. Now they're going all in on bourbon, blending 5 straight whiskeys to create a big balanced bourbon that stands apart from everything else. So grab yourself a fistful of bourbon, a blend of 5 bourbons created with over 100 years of whiskey blending experience. It ain't just a bourbon, it's a damn fistful. Please enjoy responsibly.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. This has been the Fistful of Bourbon Power Hour right here on the show. Thanks to everybody tuning in on SiriusXM Channel 211 Dan Patrick Radio. We're going to be signing off on SiriusXM, but you want to catch hour number 2, head over to Sports Byline, the U.S. American Forces Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Podcast One, anywhere you get podcasts, we are there. You can catch hour number 2, but thanks to everybody for tuning in there on SiriusXM. Thanks to all our guests, Ryan Piplic, as well as Miss Tiffany Stone for holding it down in hour number 1. But let me tell you, we still got a lot cranking. We've got a big Q&A segment. I'm going to dive into the racing news. We're going to dive into fan questions, a whole lot of that in hour number 2, as well as our special guest, Amber Nova, calling in to talk cars and a little bit of pro wrestling and a lot in between. So lots of stuff happening here on the show. We're still cranking things up. But, yes, I wanted to mention, too, our good friends at General Tire. They've got a big promotion going on for a $100 Visa gift card, $100 prepaid Visa gift card if you buy 4 General Tires now through October 31st. first. So, yes, please get in on that. Go over to our good friends at General Tire. Get the promo, and, you definitely are going to definitely not going to not going to be disappointed with a $100 Visa prepaid card. So now is the best time ever to buy a new set of General Tires. And make sure to check out our good friends at iRacing. Yes, you want to get into racing? You want to do it virtually? iRacing, PR-Jim Beaver. That's going to get you 50% off when you sign up. And with that, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back more here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out VisionWheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver holding it down. Hour number 2, we got big guest Amber Nova on for a couple of segments. She's going to be talking cars, her love of cars, mechanics, and also she's a pro wrestler, and she's infused her love of cars and mechanics into her character in pro wrestling. Pretty rad. So looking forward to having Amber Nova on here in hour number 2. But kicking things off here, let's dive into a little bit of Dirtfish Rally Report brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. We'll find out more information on the web, www.dirtfish.com. Use the coupon code JimBeaver15. That's JimBeaver15. That'll get you 15% off any and all classes at Dirtfish. Okay, so that being said, let's dive into things. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff coming up. We're, I guess, not far off from having our big event, World RX of Catalunya, Barcelona. But yes, Extreme E's made some big announcements. And I'm pulling all this off of Dirtfish's website, greatest asset on the internet for rally news. But Extreme E, they are diving into things. They've got a big fan vote going on to determine the final start order. So they're actually going to use a fan voting system to decide grid positions for the final rounds at each event. So something kind of new Extreme E is bringing to the game. I think that's pretty rad, to be honest with you, getting the fans involved on social media. That's pretty cool. And then one of the bigger news items coming out of this last week, Ken Block. Yes, Ken Block, his Gymkhana Ford Focus RSRX is going to be up for auction. Proceeds are going to go to various causes, but Ken Block's RSRX is going to be up for auction with proceeds going to support numerous causes. So doing it for charity, Ken Block. I mean, what a piece of history that car is. I don't know that I could just sit it in a museum. That car deserves to be driven. So hopefully whoever does takes like Goodwood, places like that, man, that would be awesome. But Ken Block's, if you want to be Ken Block, you want to be a Hoonigan, boom. HHIC, his car is up for grabs if you got enough coin, but that's going to be at Barrett Jackson's, definitely one to watch. So, yes, once again, dirtfish.com, Jim Beaver 15 will get you 15% off any and all classes. That was your Dirtfish Rally Report for this week, and we will be back with more right here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
From the 2018 Master Distillers of the Year comes a bold new American whiskey and fistful of bourbon. Their whiskeys have been award-winning for generations. Now they're going all in on bourbon, blending 5 straight whiskeys to create a big balanced bourbon that stands apart from everything else. So grab yourself a fistful of bourbon, a blend of 5 bourbons created with over 100 years of whiskey blending experience. It ain't just a bourbon, it's a damn fistful. Please enjoy responsibly.
Looking to have some fun on 4 wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Well, welcome to hour number 2 here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And, we're kind of a shoot from the hip to start things off. Obviously, we got Amber Nova coming on, after this next break for a couple of segments. Big thanks to all you guys tuning in on Sports Byline, as well as the American Forces Network, Apple Podcasts, downanddirtyshow.com, Podcast One, everywhere else. Thank you, guys. Thanks for the continued support. Hour number 2, really excited about this Amber Nova interview. We pre-taped it. And, it's airing in its entire, full-length form over on Project Action on Podcast One, but I think you guys are really going to enjoy this one. I've been talking with a lot of people last month, 2 months, and, everybody's still kind of trying to figure out what's going on in the world, looking at next year. I think everybody knows what they would like to do, but not a lot of people, really know what they're going to be able to do, I think is a big question. You know, obviously this whole COVID thing is lingering over us, and you know, obviously events are starting to run in all major motorsports, you know, but I was even looking, I'm trying to put my schedule together, and right now we're sitting at like 20 weekends of me being gone, things like that, you know, and looking at things, but I'm like, man, I don't even include Supercross, things like that, you know, and it's like, what's going to happen? They're filling stadiums. Are they going to be running, you know, without crowds, without fans? Like, I don't know. It's kind of gnarly. I mean, off-road, obviously, UTV World Championship last weekend was huge. Fans were invited there, but things still weren't like they normally did. No virtual meetings, everything was virtual, no podiums, no celebrations, no awards. You know, things weren't in downtown like they were supposed to be. And I think, you know, it's quite interesting, you know, because, you know, we want fans there, things like that. But then, like, from a racer standpoint, there's actually improvements I've found from the way things are. Like, I don't want to go to a driver's meeting. I would much rather watch the video on the internet. You know, it's made a lot of process, you know, showing up to the events more streamlined and faster. I like that. So I don't know, from a motorsports standpoint, I know even NASCAR, you look at them, they're the juggernaut, right? They are the big one. Even they have said, hey, we probably are going to go to some single-day weekends. You know, it used to be show up on a Thursday for NASCAR race. They were Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was a 4-day thing. Now it's a 1-day thing. And I think there's something to that. You know, things are more streamlined. I think things got bloated. It added expense. You know, every time I go to a race and there's an extra day, you know, we got a dozen hotel rooms for crew and media people and stuff like that. So all of a sudden, you know, you figure best case $100 a day if you can find a $100 room that's not a Roach Motel. You're looking at $1,200 a day in lodging costs. You know, sometimes they're $150, you know, a room. So look at that. Yeah, $1,800 a day in lodging costs. And mine's a small operation, you know. So, you know, streamlining things definitely has benefited our program. But I'm looking at next year from a fan perspective, right? And I know I give a racer perspective on the show. There's some phenomenal shows, you know, that don't, you know, and you know, I apologize to people who don't want the racer perspective, but I look at what's happening in the industry and things like that, you know, and guys have been able to spend more time at home with their families. That's been huge, right? You know, that's a massive, massive thing we haven't even talked about. I mean, you know, whether you're talking Supercross, even us in off-road, short course, things like that, on-road a lot. And I think running these double and triple header weekends and being able to remove a big weekend. You know, Lucas did it this year, and I think, you know, they took it to a whole nother level with all triple header weekends. Which, you know, they did what they had to do to get the series in. And I don't know that anybody wants to do that, but I think a lot of these, maybe a couple triple header weekends, you know, maybe more doubleheader weekends for other series. You know, I don't know. I'm just looking at things and spitballing here, but I think there is some positive we can take into next year that actually reduces costs on everybody's front. And, you know, that's the biggest thing with sponsor dollars. We don't know with the election going on, with COVID. Obviously, aftermarket, we all know at this point, has had a great year. I think a lot of people sat at home and shop for car parts. But, you know, that being said, like, there's a bigger picture here, like with sponsors, like, you know, is that money still going to be around? Is it still going to be available? Are they going to shift gears out of motorsport and apply those marketing dollars to digital spends, things like that? You know, have they found that motorsports, maybe they don't need to have such a big investment there? You know, things like that. So I don't know. It's interesting to see what's going to happen, what's going to break, where are things going to be at next year? You know, and so I think maybe the reduced costs on the racer standpoint and from the series standpoint, we need to look at that because things got so bloated, and I don't know that the sponsor dollars are going to be there. I know at the UTV World Championship, talking with Matt Martelli, he goes, look, man, we just didn't have the financial investment we had previously. There was some corners they cut on the live stream with different cameras, things like that, you know, and so I don't know. That's the bigger picture. You know, motorsports, it's not self-sustainable without partners and without sponsors. And so, you know, what are we looking at long-term without the sponsor dollars coming in? You know, Supercross, for instance, you know, are the sponsor dollars, they've got massive sponsor dollars. TV ratings are through the roof, but without the activation opportunities, without being able to put 20,000 people into a stadium to watch, are the dollars still going to be there? Without the activation opportunities and with just being able to watch the races, are that many people tuned in to justify those spins, or is Supercross going to have to reduce some of their upfront costs and things like that to be able to accommodate sponsors still being involved in race teams, things like that, without all these activation opportunities? I don't know. The one thing I do know is that this little thing called COVID we thought was going to go away, whether you believe in it or not, it's still around. It's still affecting things. And I think in regards to events and everything else, it definitely is. So I don't know. I mean, I'm earmarking a couple of big events next year. I want to go to Long Beach Grand Prix. I want to go to the new Nashville IndyCar road course. I think both those are big opportunities. What's that going to look like though? What's that going to look like next year? I don't know. I don't think anybody does, and that's kind of the weird thing. And you've got to give a lot of credit to places like the city of Nashville. They're gambling, right? They're all in. They're going, we want to go IndyCar racing. Massive event in Nashville. Everybody's excited about it. Cool course. Everything else. What's that event going to look like? We don't know. I think, truthfully, I'm really excited to watch St. Petersburg, St. Pete. It was the race that got canceled to start the year. They're going to have it to end the year this year. They're bringing it back, and I think that's going to be the first real street course venue IndyCar puts on, or big fan following event anywhere, in a city center. So I think a lot of eyes are going to be on that event. Let's see what happens, because normally that draws six-figure people to the event. Is it going to draw six-figure people this year? Are they going to limit the capacity? I don't know. But I think all eyes are going to be on St. Pete. And that event in October, I think that event is going to determine a lot about 2021. So I truly believe that. Let's all eyes are going to be on St. Pete, that's for sure. But, excuse me, coughing on air. That rarely happens. Getting tongue-tied. But yeah, big event this weekend. Lucas Oil, they've got the event at Glen Helen. They're going to be crowning champions this weekend. I know Lucas Oil TV will have that airing on their live stream. If you're a subscriber to that and you've paid the money, definitely going to be worth it. A lot of championship up for grabs. I know Lucas has put together kind of a tentative schedule for next year. Very limited. Going to be running some triple-header weekends. Glen Helen, Phoenix, Wheatlands, and then back to Glen Helen. Off the schedule is Reno, and basically they're running some events in the spring, one in the fall, and they're going to leave a big gap during the summer, I think, to accommodate this new championship off-road, this Midwest Series, who is killing it. So I think that's actually really a cool storyline, that Lucas, one, is doing that. But two, is it going to allow a lot of the Midwest entries, which they've had full fields back there, to come and run the full Lucas Series without conflicts? They're not having to go back and forth across the country. I think could be huge for Lucas Oil Off-Road Series this next year. If they play their cards right, I think they could draw a lot of entries, potentially having Pro 4 back. I know that was a big thing going into this year. Pro 4 was non-existent in Lucas. Big Pro 4 field in the Midwest. So, Pro 4... could it come back to Lucas next year? That's to be determined, but I wouldn't rule it out at this point. It depends on how many drivers and the funding they can get to come run the West Coast Series. So big opportunity for Lucas. Obviously, I think they've got a lot of opportunities. We saw them live stream one of their first races of the year on Facebook, something completely out of the norm for Lucas. That was huge, drew very good viewership. Hopefully they can do more of that, so people don't have to subscribe to Lucas Oil Racing TV. I think it's going to allow a lot of drivers opportunities to come out, but because sponsors are going to see more value in it. I don't know. Lots going on, but that was definitely big for Lucas with their schedule. So looking forward to seeing how that slots in. Obviously, like I said, they're racing in Glen Helen this weekend. Looking forward to seeing the championship off-road calendar when that's released for 2021. I know Snowcross has pushed all their events. They normally start around Thanksgiving. They pushed everything back into 2021. So we'll see how Snowcross, does. They're going to be running almost every weekend first couple of months of the year. So lots going on in the world of motorsports, and we're going to have Amber Nova here on the show when we return to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Conditions off the pavement are always changing, so why settle for a light bar that just turns on and off? The Rigid Adapt is a revolutionary new light bar that will automatically select from 8 beam patterns that range from a widespread 90-degree flood to a 15-degree spot based on your vehicle's speed. Try that with your knockoff light bar. A dash-mounted controller allows the user to toggle between adaptive mode, beam patterns, and RGBW accent lighting. With Adapt, it's easier than ever to own the night.
Don't just shred your way through any off-road rugged terrain. Get into gear with GSP XTV and let us redefine your adventure. The GSP advantage of quality and performance sets a standard for UTV axles. We strive to provide premium ATV and UTV axles to keep you shreddy ready. Kick up some dirt and get in the driver's seat with GSP XTV. With over 35 years of experience, drive with a company you can trust. Drive with GSP. For more information, please visit us at gspxtv.com today.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Yeah, it's been a good one so far, but we are just getting cranking. We got Amber Nova coming up here in just a minute. Before we jump into that interview, though, I have to tell you, say goodbye to summer and hello to truck season. General Tire wants to help you get a jump on the winter weather because now through October 31st, 2020, that is Halloween, with a purchase of 4 new qualifying General Tire light truck and SUV tires, you'll receive up to a $100 Visa prepaid card. Total of 11 different tire lines qualify for the promotion, including the Extreme Terrain Grabber X3, the Aggressive All-Terrain Grabber ATX. Prepare to prove anywhere as possible this truck season with General Tire. Additional terms and conditions apply. For full details, visit GeneralTire.com. General Tire, driving the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. And yes, General Tire been a big supporter of this show over the years. Big thanks to them for the continued support of everything I do. And with that, it's time to jump into things. We've got our guest, this interview standing by with pro wrestler, car aficionado, mechanic, badass, Amber Nova. With that, I think it's time to roll this thing and jump into this interview with this rad guest. I'd like to welcome my next guest to the show, pro wrestler and car aficionado, Amber Nova. Welcome to the show, Amber.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the introduction.
Yeah, so I guess let's go back to the start. I guess jumping right into things. Amber Nova, I think this is such a rad personality. I know I reached out to you because I go, just on the show, we've had pro wrestlers, we've had race car drivers. I'm a car guy. I'm a pro wrestling fan. I started following you a while back on Instagram, and I'm like, man, you're like a tailor-made fit for the show if there ever was one. But take us to the beginning, because we'll get into the pro wrestling side in a minute. But how did you become such a car person?
My dad is a mechanic.
Simple as that. So you grew up around the garage and things like that?
Absolutely. So my parents are from Jersey. I was born in Hackettstown, New Jersey, but I grew up my life in Beaufort, Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. And my dad, was growing up, always restored classic American muscle cars. He's actually currently still restoring a 69 SS Chevelle, big block motor. And it's just always run in the family. My mom, she'd be there helping him as well and raising kids. And I was just really into the classic cars. And my first car when I was 17, I bought a 73 Chevy Nova. And this is my second one that I currently have.
Wow. So definitely you are a Chevy person then. It's easy to say that, right?
Yes. Chevy overboard.
So take us through. Okay, so you've got your orange Nova. Obviously, like I it's so awesome because your character in pro wrestling is kind of infused with everything in your real day-to-day life. Like you've brought like the mechanic side into things. Like everything's kind of Chevy Nova themed down to your wrestling apparel matching the car. Like was it a pretty easy kind of fit for you like to create this persona for pro wrestling?
Yes, it actually was. I mean, I was just trying to think, like when I moved here to start pro wrestling, I was a former EMT and I did medical transport, but I didn't think that I could really do much character work and ring style and my gimmick with being a former EMT. That I didn't feel like there was much there. And I drove my Nova. I moved to Orlando, just a Nova and a dream. And I was like, always called the Nova girl back home. People would see me, oh, you're the girl that drives the Nova. You're the Nova girl. I'm like, yeah, I'm Amber Nova. And I'll tune you up in the ring. I'll tune you up outside the ring. And, you know, I got the wrench and the tire marks, and I incorporate that all into my ring character, the style I do, my moves. And the reason I stick orange is because Chevrolet's original motor color is that hot fire orange. And yeah, I'm a little car guru. I'm not like anywhere close to my dad's knowledge, but I'm getting there.
Yeah. So you were an EMT. So how do you go from being an EMT, which is you know, it's a damn good job. How do you go from that, and how did you get kind of bit by the pro wrestling bug? Like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's a big transition. You know, how I mean, what was it? Were you a wrestling fan growing up? I mean, how did you make that transition?
Thank you. Yes, it was a brutally hard transition. It was like going into another world that I'd never been in before. You know, I was working 24, 36-hour shifts on ambulance, not sleeping, helping people. I didn't even have social media. People didn't even think that was real when I moved here. I was like, when I joined wrestling, I was like, yeah, I don't have an Instagram or Twitter or Twitter, you know, none of that. And I was watching wrestling since I was a kid, though. I used to watch big in WCW, you know, Sting, Booker T, Goldberg. Those are just like the guys I got amped to see. You know, obviously anything Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio. I used to go to live events and see like Randy Orton and Batista. And yeah, I loved it growing up. I just never thought it was anything I could possibly ever do, because, you know, I was watching women like Luna Vachon, Medusa, Chyna, Trish Stratus, Lita, and I'm like, Victoria, and I'm like, I'm not their size, you know, I'm pretty petite. I'm more like, I want to say my body's very similar to more of Sasha Banks. So I'm pretty petite, and I was like, I could never do something like that. And then eventually I saw these young, beautiful, not that big of women like Sasha Banks, Paige, Carmella, Bayley coming up, and they inspired me. And I was like, oh, the WWE Performance Centers in Orlando, you know, NXT, they have Impact, they do tapings. And so that's 5 years ago, I moved to Orlando with a Nova and a dream, and I started training and had my first match in 2016.
Yeah, well, and I mean, take us through the beginning, because I know, like, pro wrestling training, I mean, I've been around the sport a little bit, you know, and been in a ring before, and I mean, that's what people don't understand is it's brutal. I mean, it's absolutely brutal on the body. I mean, take us through the beginning. I mean, is there any part where you get into this and go, man, like, wow, I didn't realize it was going to be this ridiculously hard?
Yes, that's exactly what I thought. Now, I knew it was going to be hard. I didn't know just how it's going to be on my neck. And you have to kind of callous your body up and get used to it, and eventually you learn how to take it. But yeah, being an EMT, you know, I used to transport patients that were paralyzed from little accidents, you know, maybe just health conditions like stroke, young people too, like in their 20s. And yeah, when I started wrestling, I was like, man, this is pretty dangerous. So luckily I had my EMT background where, you know, I've had seen people get concussions in training and I've been able to help them. Or, you know, I had a few skills myself with my, I would, like I said, I was living alone, so I'd go home at night. I could barely turn my neck left and right the next day. I would ice, and I was in so much pain. Then I also had to work, you know, full time as well when I came down here. So, yeah, it's extremely painful. Everyone thinks, oh, I can be a wrestler. It's easy. It's like, no, it's not that easy. You have to really, really pretty much dedicate your entire life.
Well, and I feel like wrestling too. I mean, for somebody like you coming in, and you know, you're having to go through, you know, from the ground up and in the independence, things like that. But what people don't realize is they see you out on the ring, and you know, they see this glamorous character, but behind the scenes, they don't realize the grind that you're having to go through to get to each and every match. Like you said, you're not only a pro wrestler, but you know, you're working full time. You know what I mean, to help offset the cost of training, things like that. I mean, they see this glamorous ring character, but behind the scenes, they gotta know you are, you know, the grind is just killer when you're trying to get started, right?
Yes, it is. Thank you for appreciating that.
Yeah. Well, you know, that being said, I mean, you know, take us through kind of your first match into where we're at today, because I know you're still, you know, you're still doing a lot in the independents. I know you've kind of bounced up. You've done some stuff with Impact, a little bit with WWE. You know, kind of take us through that first match. And I mean, you know, you get into that first match and you get through that. I mean, was it one of those where you're like, wow, now I know for sure this is what I want to do?
Yeah, I knew it was what I wanted to do, like, in training, and then it took a few matches for me to really be comfortable, because it's when you're with these more experienced people. Like my 10th match, I think it was my 10th match, was with Zelina Vega, Thea Trinidad. Larry Zbyszko was on commentary. So I was wrestling a lot. Mia Yim, Rosemary. I was wrestling a lot of these girls that were much more experienced than me, and I was just coming in the business and getting to learn from them. And the more you do it, the more reps, the better you get. But you have to seriously invest in yourself, like your body, your workout. You want to, as much as you invest in yourself, other people will. But it's such a lot of work. But it's actually really amazing to see like the transition, like, and from my first match and my first few matches to where I am now. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and that being said, like, obviously, to get these appearances, like you did some stuff with Impact, some WWE appearances, excuse me, how big of a role does social media and things play? Because I guess you've got to package yourself not only in the ring, but then outside of the ring, right? I mean, is it tough to get noticed, to get these opportunities and things like that? I mean, even with the smaller promotions, if you've got a bigger following, it makes more sense for them to bring you in because you can help, I guess, give it some exposure to the event that you're wrestling at, things like that. I mean, how tough is it to get these jobs? And obviously, I'm sure social media's got to play a big part of it, right?
Absolutely. Like I said, I didn't have social media when I moved down here. I had to start fresh, and you have to invest in yourself, or no one else is going to invest in you. You have to go out there and spend your own dime and invest in yourself, like whether that be new wrestling gear, new promo pictures, photo shoots, etc. Anything that you have to do, like, no one's just going to pay you right off the bat. Like, you got to invest in yourself. I did a lot of modeling, promoting for many different companies for free on my own time until I became a brand ambassador and worked my way to that part. I would just go out there and do it for free. I'd get sponsored, some stuff, and I'd go out there and promote. They liked my work, and then I got hired doing more brand ambassador stuff for like Wild Bangarang. Chalkline Official just sent me stuff. Both those clothing companies are licensed with WWE, and just been hustling, doing my own work as much as I can. It's my advice to people is really invest in yourself. You can't just go out there and expect people to hand you things. You have to show them that you're valuable and worth being handed something.
And we're going to continue this conversation with Amber Nova, but we got to take a short commercial break. We'll be back with more with Amber Nova after this on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high performance, responsiveness, and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And we are going to jump right back into things with Amber Nova. Well, and, take us through this year, because obviously if being, a pro wrestler and, working your way through the independents like you are isn't hard enough. I mean, all of a sudden this pandemic happens and wrestling, it's like, boom, pump the brakes. We can't have that, and obviously some of these, I guess, with the major promotions, they're carrying contracts where they're getting paid regardless, one way or another. But somebody like you, I mean, I got to think, you don't have these heavy contracts. You're working kind of a lot of times, probably night to night for a lot of these promotions. I mean, how tough was this year on you?
It was extremely tough. Thank God I've been slowly able to get by and pay my rent at my townhome, and I do live alone, so like I have my own responsibilities and things. But yeah, it's been difficult. I was on a roll last year. I went to London, Panama, and South Africa within 6 months' time. From June to December, with the 3 different countries. I was going out of state, wrestling all over. I was doing really good. I was even in talks with WWE, and they complimented me, said, good work on the international travel. We'll stay in touch. Keep doing that. It was going well. I was actually hoping to earn a WWE tryout eventually soon by doing more of my international travel, which I was supposed to return to South Africa and Panama this year a couple of times. Unfortunately, let's not say canceled, we'll just say postponed, because they still are planning for me to come back next year when things and travel are safe again after this pandemic. But yeah, this pandemic, a lot of people, you know, I'm more concerned with other people's health and people lost so many loved ones and just safety, and that's what's more important. And yeah, it was definitely hard on me. The beginning of this year, I was traveling a lot. I was wrestling. I wrestled actually Anna Jay for Empower Wrestling. That was on Fight TV. I wrestled, let's see, in Arizona, Alabama, Georgia. I was out in California doing signings for LAX Fan Fest. I had a few more things coming up with like Cactus League Wrestling in Arizona, Texas. But yeah, a lot of things got unfortunately canceled. And I'm really looking forward to working some girls that I haven't worked before. So we'll see. And like you said, you know, it's been hard on everybody. So I've been doing the best I can, the virtual signings. I just did one with Larry Zabisco the other night. That was a lot of fun. So things like that have been able to get by, you know, with the use of social media.
How has it been, the events, you know, coming back now? I know you've obviously started doing some more matches, quite a few of them in August, and then, you know, obviously we've got a few here in September. You got some coming up, but I mean, how's it been, you know, now that things are kind of starting to get back into the swing of things? I mean, you feel like everybody's excited to be there. It's kind of re-energized people. You know, I feel like sometimes we take things for granted, and then when they're taken away, we really learn to appreciate them more. I mean, how have you felt on the matches and things like that you wrestled as you came back?
It felt really good. So, like this past summer, I think it was like June, July, August, I was wrestling a lot, just local shows here in Orlando. And that was pretty great. You know, I wanted to wear masks, did the social distancing, check temperatures. It felt so good to be back in the ring. And I felt like people really just felt good to be out of the house and trying to get back to the normal life as best as they could and safe ways as they could. But yeah, as far as like out-of-state travel, out-of-country travel, that's been on hold until recently. I will be wrestling for Hurricane Pro in Beaumont, Texas, October 24th. So that is my first out-of-state booking since February. And then I'll also be on Halloween on the 31st. I'm flying to Queens, New York to the Wrestling Universe comic book store. I'm doing a signing there. Not sure what I should dress up as. I have a few pretty cool pictures of like me in the pink Power Ranger outfit, things like that. So that's going to be fun for Halloween. And those are my first out-of-state bookings coming up.
Yeah, it's got to feel kind of weird being on the road so much. And I know me with the TV work and the radio and the racing stuff I do, it's like, man, I sometimes I'm on the road 30-some weekends a year, and then this year it's all of a sudden you're at the house and you're like, oh, this is what my bed looks like. It was kind of weird, and it feels so good now to kind of get back on the road and get back to some normalcy. It's like you know, I think to an extent some of us needed a little bit of time at home, but I'm like, man, now it's like it makes you appreciate everything so much more.
Yeah, this year has definitely been raw. I think that's like the best word to describe it. Raw. You know, a lot of things in the world that maybe needed to be changed and be, I don't know, spoken about or whatever. Like, I think it's helped. There's been a lot of, you know, negativity, but there's been a lot of positivity. And yeah, sometimes change is for the best. Maybe this is what the world needed. And like you said, people being at home a lot, maybe they, you know, positive things came out of this. People need to spend more time with their family and their kids. Got to do that were working too much. And just, I think it also made a lot of people not realize just how much we take things for granted in life, that, you know, all those things you say you're going to do and you never do. And now, you know, you never had the chance to go to that concert this year or go to Disney or do those things because the world was shut down. So just, it's crazy. I hope it made people more grateful.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. So I got to ask, you've got that signing the 31st. I know you, you know, October 1, you threw up an Instagram post, and it kind of had some of your old Halloween costumes. So I got to ask, what are you rolling with this 31st? What are you rolling with for Halloween this year?
So a lot of people want me to do the Slave Leia, but I will be freezing in Queens, New York on Halloween, walking around in Slave Leia costume. Plus, I don't know if I have any professional photos in that one, but I've been requested to do the pink Power Ranger again, being that I have the posters and the photos of the pink Power Ranger, so that's a possibility. I have a female clone / stormtrooper outfit. That would keep me pretty warm, but I don't think anyone wants to see me in that one. I want the fans to really vote about it, so I've been asking them.
Yeah. So are you, I mean, obviously you love Halloween. I love Halloween, but do you like doing a little cosplay as well, or is it just kind of once a year you roll it out for Halloween?
I love doing cosplay, but usually it's just around Halloween that I have the opportunity to do it or go to events. My birthday's actually 2 days after Halloween, it's November 2nd. So growing up, I'd always celebrate my birthday and Halloween with kids' parties and stuff and dressing up. So I don't know if I relate it to that as well. I just like to celebrate it around that time. It's like how I do my birthday party, I guess.
Yeah. Is there any costumes out there in the back of your mind you're like, and some of them, I mean, like I've looked at what yours do. I actually really like the Stormtrooper one. But is there anything out there in the back of your mind you're like, yeah, I really want to do that? But, you know, I know with cosplay, I mean, it gets tough to do it right. Like, you've got to really start doing some homework and sourcing, you know, stuff for the costumes. Is there anything in the back of your mind like you're like, I want to nail that at some point?
Yes, I've thought about, like, I've seen some, but they're very overdone to where it's just like, nah, I guess not. Like Wonder Woman, Poison Ivy. I'm like, nah, I kind of like doing something more original that not many people have done. So this year I was actually going to do a female Boba Fett. So it'd be like the female Stormtrooper one I did, where I just take the costume, I alter it, cut it up, I add things to it. I try to make a lot of it custom made. Like my Jasmine one was custom made, even like her little slippers, I made those. So I was thinking female Boba Fett this year, but I don't know. Let's see, I've gotten Laura Croft, Tomb Raider. Actually, that was my nickname when I first joined wrestling here in Orlando. I used to braid my hair like that. So I used to do it as an EMT like that. And my nickname was Tomb Raider. That's what they used to call me. So I used to call my little head scissors buckle smash that I do in the corner of the Tomb Raider, and then I switched it to the tune up. And that's what I'm like, I'm going to give you a tune up. Boom, smash your face.
So you're full on, like, so you're way into like comic book culture, pop culture, like you're way down that rabbit hole then, right?
Yeah, I mean, I used to play World of Warcraft. I was really geeky into that. Like when I did some extra work at Raw, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, they really appreciated my like World of Warcraft leggings. And I think there's a lot of gamer girls. That, you know, Thea likes to game, Zelina likes to game. You know, there's a lot of gamer girls in wrestling, I think.
I think it's like I feel bad because I think too a lot of it's like a closet gamer thing. So like Natalie Eva Marie and her husband Jonathan are very good friends of mine, and they both play World of Warcraft, and he's way into it, and then she even dabbles in it and stuff. And it's
is addicting.
Yeah, it's like, but you would see people like that, and you're like, you would never think they play World of Warcraft, right? And like they do. Like I feel like,
people think. Yeah, people would say the same things about me, and I'm like, why? You know.
Right. Oh, that's rad, though. Yeah, I
actually heard some rumors that she might be coming back to WWE. I've been seeing some reports about that.
I did that too. And honestly, I talk with her husband probably once a week, and he hasn't mentioned anything, and he wouldn't. You know what I mean? But I'll have to text him. But I saw, I saw the dirt sheets, and there's rumors circulating around that. But yeah, I don't know. I think it. Knowing her personally, I think the travel, everything kind of got burned out. She needed to take a couple years off, and I don't know. I think it'd be fun to see her back. I think so. I don't know.
She's done incredible on her own, like with her. She's done incredible on her own with her business and her clothing line. And yeah, I think it'd be great to see her back. She's got a killer body. I follow all of her workouts online, so yeah, I would be really happy to see if she returns.
Yeah, it would be. They're fun. I don't know if you've ever met them or her husband. Like her husband and I do a podcast together. We do occasionally.
I actually don't think I have.
Yeah, they're rad people. I think you dig them. But yeah. So what's next for you? Obviously, you got a couple of matches coming up. I mean, what's the rest of this year look like? Obviously, I think we're all hoping for a bigger and better 2021. But what's the rest of 2020 hold for you, Amber?
I'm not sure what the rest of the year is going to hold for me. Like I said, I'm doing my out-of-state bookings for Hurricane Pro. I will be wrestling Heather Monroe on the 24th of October in Beaumont, Texas. I'm excited about that. I have some more bookings lining up, and then talks with Pale, South Africa. I'm tuning up the world as much as I can and shifting gears, doing what I can, and taking every positive thing I can out of every situation. So hopefully the rest of this year is just going to smooth sailing, and just for everybody, smooth sailing.
So we're going to put you on the spot. We're going to go back to this car thing before we let you go. We got a couple minutes left here, but I know you drive a Nova. I think everybody can appreciate your Nova. The car's badass, right? So you got to roll with one modern car. what are you rolling with? Or truck. We'll throw that out. One modern vehicle. If you got to roll with one, unlimited money, Amber's got to pick a car.
Easy.
What are you rolling with?
Easy. Dodge Challenger.
Okay.
I know it's so crazy. It's like, wait, not another Chevy? And it's like, I love how they did the new Dodge Challenger body style. It's so similar to that 70s style, like my Nova, and I just love the body work on it. The engine, I have a friend that has it, just roars like crazy. I'm just like, yeah, I guess I would go for Dodge Challenger, or I like pickup trucks. I like the Chevy pickup trucks as well, like the real big ones. And
well, you know what?
The Toyota Tundras are nice if I went for pickup truck.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Challenger too, because I feel like Chevy, Ford, and Dodge all kind of came out with their retro throwbacks, and like I like the Camaro, I like the Mustang, I like the Challenger, right? But I think the Challenger, they did a better job of kind of bringing back the retro feel with it. Like I feel like Ford and Chevy kind of gave nods to their history, but I think Dodge went all in with their history.
The Charger and the Challenger, they look wonderful. I was like, man, that's what a car looks like. There's a nice 70s style to it, and I love Chevelles as well, and Impalas. Mustangs are nice, of course, but they're just so, I don't know, overdone.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm in a Ford family. My family actually owns a Ford dealership, and I'm around Mustangs all the time. But
oh, my bad. And here I am.
Yeah, no. I appreciate cars. I appreciate cars, but no, I agree with you on the Mustang because I see so many of them. It really takes something for me to turn my head and go, "Oh, that's awesome," because I feel like you said, they've been so overdone, and I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying they've been so overdone. It takes a lot for me, to turn my head and be like, "Oh, I need to go check that car out." So, but well, Amber, I mean, it has been a ton of fun. I'm hoping you get out to Arizona again and do another match, because I know my daughter, she's a big wrestling fan, women's wrestling fan. I think it'd be fun to go and check you out and see one of those. So we'll have to keep in touch. If you got any matches coming up in Arizona sometime in the next few months, so definitely let me know, and I'd love to get out and see you in person.
Yeah, hopefully Cactus League Wrestling will bring me back, and I'll be in the Phoenix, Arizona area again soon. I was there early January, February of this year, so you guys follow them, Cactus League Wrestling, and stay in touch with their shows. That's the area.
Awesome. Well, Amber, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time to call into the show, and we will definitely chat soon.
All right, thank you so much.
Big thanks to Amber Nova for being my guest today on the show. We are going to take a short commercial break, though. We'll be back to wrap things up right here on the Gentle Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
And that's all we got this week right here on the Gentle Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Big thanks to Gentle Tire. Don't forget, they've got that big promotion running now through the end of the month, October 31st. Get up to a $100 Visa prepaid card. So check out GentleTire.com for all the terms and conditions. Big shout out to Polaris RZR, Vision Wheel, Rigid Industries, GSP XTV axles, Dirtfish. Don't forget, it's at Jim Beaver 15 or just Jim Beaver 15 at dirtfish.com. That'll get you a discount. Optimus starters, Don't forget the Down and Dirty Radio Show. It starts with Optimus and our good friends at Fistful of Bourbon, some of the best damn bourbon on the market. It's just not a bourbon, it's a damn fistful. Check them out as well. Liquor stores nationwide right now. And it's been solid. It's been fun. Big thanks to Amber Nova and Ryan Piplic, Tiffany Stone for holding it down with me. I am at Jim Beaver 15 on social media, on that social media machine. If you want to get in on some of the fun and give me a follow, don't forget, go over to Apple Podcasts, smash that subscribe button to the show. Please leave a rating or review. If you haven't already, it definitely helps us out. And we are all over the place. SiriusXM Channel 211, Dan Patrick Radio. Thanks for tuning in. Sports Byline, U.S. American Forces Network. Everywhere online you listen to the show. Thank you, guys. Couldn't do it without you. Year number 10 is next year for the show. Just blows my mind. We've been around for a decade now, and it wouldn't have happened without your continued support. We got some big things planned for next year, and sure, we're going to dive into those and talk about them on the show at some point really, really soon, because I want to get your feedback. I want to get you guys involved. I want you to come out and be able to have fun with us to celebrate our 10th anniversary, and it is going to be rad. I'm racing this weekend at the Blue Water Desert Challenge, or this coming weekend, so if you're out of Parker, swing by, say hey. Would love to meet listeners and fans of the show. And shoot me your fan questions. We got a big segment coming next week for fan questions, so got plenty of time to knock those out as well. So, all right, that's it. Have a great week, a safe weekend. We'll see you next time right here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.